Ghost Rider. Now, I promised this review a month ago, and now a month later I'm actually doing it. So, this is going to be my first review on this channel, and I know it won't be perfect, but hey, I'm gonna try. But this is one of the few films from Marvel to not have a Stan Lee cameo. Does that make it good or bad? Does that mean that someone who is so big at Marvel really didn't care that much for this film? We're going to be taking a look. Now, the story. It's actually very simple to follow. Pretty much, Johnny Blaze's dad was diagnosed with cancer. It's getting worse and worse, and he does what everybody who hears that his parent is his only parent, apparently, because his mom has just caught a case of not important to the scriptitis, I guess. And so what does he do? He goes and messes around with his motorcycles, of course. But then, of course, he meets up with the devil, and they make a deal where the devil will cure his father's cancer as long as he sells him his soul. Like any logical person, he agrees. And then, well, apparently, who would have thought you can't make deals with the devil because he kills his dad? Okay, if you think that I spoiled that, I didn't. So you know what happens in like the opening. And then he has to leave his girlfriend Roxanne for the rest of his life until she comes back a little bit later. Yeah, the leaving scene isn't really that important. And then he finds out that she might still like him because he chased her down a freeway. Kinda creepy, actually. And then, well, he gets a date because protagonist. And then, of course, the devil comes back, says, hey, you gotta be the Ghost Rider, deal with it. And, of course, he turns into the Ghost Rider, which is by far the coolest part of the movie. And then he has to stop the devil's son. Oh my god, this name. Oh my god, this name. This does not sound like the name of a devil. Of the son of the devil. Okay, are you ready for this? Okay. It's Blackheart. Yeah, the son's real name is Blackheart. Like, if he had a birth certificate, it'd say Blackheart. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Blackheart? What? Okay, well, anyway. So, pretty much now he's gotta go stop Blackheart, get this contract which he wants, so then he can gain his soul back. But, of course, Roxanne's been bullying along the way, and he actually just tells her straight up that he's the Ghost Rider and that he's a bounty hunter with a flaming skull for a head. As you can tell, that wouldn't work. But of course, then she's like, oh, hey, you know what? I saw a flaming skull, that must be you. So, everything is solved. Okay, but with a story like that, it sounds really stupid, right? Well, actually, not really. Sure, it can be kind of cheesy at times, and it does feel a little bit too serious about the subject matter, but all in all, it's executed pretty well by actually having the characters take their roles seriously. Even Nicolas Cage is very low on his acting. Yeah, like, his acting isn't overacting like he usually does. No, he's just a normal guy, actually. And it's a really big surprise act. I mean, you would think the one role where his skull bursts into flames. He's normal during the whole thing. But still, it's executed pretty well. Some of the plot all fits, and actually, nothing's really the demons that hide in the elements is kind of being it in, but it's not really being in that much. I mean, sure, they do have some religious stuff going on with, like, some religious books. They go to churches, and then people who are really into religion would be like, oh, hey, that's symbolism. But, I don't really care about it. But, all in all, I would have to say it was a pretty good plot. Could have been worse. It could have been way worse, especially with the subject matter, like the sequel, which sucks, by the way. The sequel sucks. Stay away from it. Never watch it. I'm warning you, never watch it. I have lived through it. It was hard. But, actually, it's pretty well done. So, all in all, I will give the plot a... 6 out of 10. Because it could have been a whole lot worse with the subject matter, but then again, it's Marvel. They don't really stray us wrong that much. Aside from Ghost Rider 2. God, I still hate that film. And now we go on to the characters. Now, these are mainly parts that people will either like or dislike. But I'm not putting my opinion about it. So, pretty much we have Nicolas Cage playing Johnny Blaze, who's actually not that cool. I mean, he is pretty cool. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's awesome. I mean, he jumps over helicopters. He jumps over freaking helicopters. But compared to that, for the rest of the film, he's not as interesting. He's not as cool. Like, it feels like they're trying to hammer in that he was a cool character, but compared to him jumping over helicopters, like 4 of them, freaking 4 helicopters he jumps over, and then he has a romantic conversation. Wait, what? How did he go from jumping over helicopters to having a romantic conversation? I mean, he's good at it. I mean, Nicolas Cage did do a good performance, and also the Johnny Blaze character is pretty developed throughout the film, actually by gaining his own character and also by gaining his own personality throughout the rest of the film. But, some of these other characters will not even him out like that, so his hard work being put into it doesn't really amount to much. Or some of the other actors are playing things so well, you don't really notice. And that's a very weird thing with this movie. Like, Roxanne? Yeah. Let's get on to Roxanne. Yeah, okay, we're in a okay, yeah, we got kind of a romance movie with her in it because she's a love interest. She's just a generic, uninteresting, boring love. And, oh Jesus! What the heck? Okay, you guys just saw that, right? Like, with her and the gun and the blowing a guy's brains out. You guys just saw that? The purple blood. Okay. As you can guess from that little image, she can actually kick some butts. I mean, seriously. When she wants to, she will. She's not just the generic love interest of the film, though. She actually does serve a purpose, and for the most part, it's actually a very good purpose. I mean, she's actually some of the struggle that goes on in the film, and thus giving her a personality and character and development. But I'm not saying that she's perfect. I mean, she does have some flaws. Like, there are some moments where, yeah, she will be the generic love interest, and yeah, she will be annoying. And you'll just think, God, just shoot Ghost Rider already. But then you get moments with her blowing a guy's brains out of his head, and that just makes it all worth it. And also, since I brought up Ghost Rider a few seconds ago, now we go on to the title character himself, Ghost Rider. Now, this is the part of the movie that makes it all worth it. Why? Because he's just awesome. I mean that. I think that anyone who has seen this movie means that. Even in the sequel, he can't go wrong. Well, okay. There are some points in the sequel. I don't like bringing that up, but yes, there are some points in the sequel where they even got a flaming skull wrong. How do you do that? I don't know. But in this film, he's awesome. I mean, this guy is awesome. He has a flaming chain. He has a flaming wheel motorcycle. He's able to defy gravity by going up buildings. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, sure, he's not that well developed, but he doesn't need to be. And he doesn't work all. So before my dad interrupted me, I was talking about Ghost Rider. He's awesome. Moving on because I only got 4 more minutes. So then we got Sam Elliott. He's not that necessary to me. To me personally, he's not that necessary. I mean, you could watch the whole movie and he wouldn't be that necessary. I mean, you could just skip over his scenes to me, but in his defense, he has an awesome riding scene. That's pretty much it. That's all I can say about the guy. But anyway, so pretty much then we have the 2 side characters that go with our 2 main protagonists, Roxanne and Johnny Blaze. Of course, he's the protagonist, but they're kind of both equally shown. So, but first we have Mac. He is hilarious. And Roxanne's cameraman, he is hilarious as well. They both should have been in this more. It sucks that Mac died, but you know what? Nicolas Cage didn't care about it, so why should we, I guess? Again, his friend dies. It's too bad. My girlfriend might need help. That's pretty much it. That's all he does. Then we have his father, who's not that important. He dies in the opening. Moving on. Okay. So, aside from that, we also have the devil, who's actually very productive. I mean, he's not just like, oh, hey, I'm the devil, I'm evil, I'm gonna kill you with fire. No, he's not like that. He'll actually make deals with you. Yeah, the devil makes deals, apparently. Because fire has no power over us at all. But yeah, he makes deals. That's apparently to Nicolas Cage's his biggest power, somehow. But then we have his son, who basically ruins his whole image. I'm just saying it now. His son sucks. There are times where he can be intimidating, but aside from those, he's not intimidating. He's just his son with a really stupid name called Blackheart. I'm sorry, Blackheart is still a hilarious name for the devil's son. He's named Blackheart. Where'd that idea come from? But anyway, and then we also got his 3 guys who follow him around. They die off. They hardly have any lines. So they're not that developed. They're not that important. I mean, sure, they serve as a distraction, but aside from that, nothing. They do nothing. Why do they do nothing? They have to do something to make a point. You gotta use characters to make a point in this movie. But all in all, I'm gonna give the characters a 5 out of 10 because they were weak, sure, but they were a good kind of weak. It was kind of like some of them are so bad they're good, and yet others are just pretty good, and some of them are just pretty bad. It kind of depends on how you're looking at them. So, I don't know. Did this film burn? No.